Hi everyone, welcome to this much awaited Air India review on Air India's new A350 all the way from Delhi to Newark. I've been tracking this plane for over 2 years and I was waiting for a long haul route to open up to North America. And when they announced that they're opening out the route in January, that was the time I had to book this plane. So let me take you through this entire journey, all of the goods, all of the bads, all of the changes that Air India has made, and just explore this entire flight. I'm seated in the business class cabin, which is laid out in a 1-to-1 configuration. I've obviously gotten myself a window seat just to experience this beautiful cabin and the amazing upgrades that Air India has made on their long haul fleet, specifically on their A350. So let me take you through this journey, and I hope you enjoy this ride as much as I do. Hello everyone, it's Abhijit here. Welcome again to one of my flight reviews. This time we're flying from Delhi Indira Gandhi International Airport all the way to New York City, EWR, Newark, in Air India's newest business class cabin. Now, this has been one of my most anticipated flights of the year. I've been tracking this aircraft for over a year for it to start flying long haul. And when this opportunity came up, I had to book this flight and make sure that I'm sitting on this plane. Now, to understand and listen to how I end up booking this flight on points, stay tuned till the end of the video and I will tell you exactly how I did that. Upon entering Indira Gandhi International Airport, I quickly checked in onto my flight. The entire process was extremely smooth. And right after doing immigration, I came to the Encom Privy Lounge. Now, this lounge, in my opinion, is one of the best lounges that I've seen, not just in India, but anywhere else in the world. When you look at any of the North American lounges, it absolutely does not compare to what a lovely lounge this is. You have all of the food options, everything that's available. So after spending a couple of hours in this lounge, I made my way to my gate. India has a special security gate. I was so excited to get on this flight that I completely avoided all of the chaos that was happening on this gate and then made my way on the aero bridge to enter the plane. The excitement had really started to kick in when I saw this new amazing livery of the Air India plane, and stepping onto this plane I saw the beautiful layout of the 28 Collins Aerospace Horizon seats that are arranged in a staggered 1-to-1 configuration. All seats on this aircraft actually have direct aisle access and are equipped with privacy doors, a personal wardrobe, vanity, and secured storage cabinets. And each seat converts into a fully flat bed for anyone who is 6'5" and above. For me, who is actually at a height of 5'9", this was a perfect bed. The row pitch is at 48 inches and the seat width is actually at a 22-inch width, which is one of the bigger seats that I've seen in business class in most of the flights. When you see the entire seat as a whole, the storage cabinets had immense space to keep all of my belongings in there. Going through the seat itself, the headrest was amazing. You had this light for reading, and the storage under the TV area was absolutely massive. Now, I've traveled in a lot of aircrafts within Air Canada and some of the other ones, but it does not offer that sort of space. What I really loved about the seat was how the tray table came through. In a lot of the other aircrafts, the tray table is at an angle where if you ever try to move your knees, you get kind of stuck in that little cubby that's in there. But in this specific seat, having such a vast space above the tray table really made it easy to access and go about. Wi-Fi was also available on this flight. Unfortunately, for this specific flight, for some reason the Wi-Fi wasn't working, which would be a letdown for this flight. But other than that, the flight overall was fantastic. The cabin crew came right away, gave me a welcome drink of either an orange juice or buttermilk. I went ahead with the orange juice and made myself comfortable on this overnight flight that I had that was departing New Delhi at 2:30. Now this seat has a stunning feel. The color scheme, the color palette on the seat is absolutely fantastic. You have a PSP looking remote as well. where you can control everything that happens on the screen. You can also watch two separate movies, one on the screen, one on the PSP itself. The screen in itself is a massive 21-inch HD touchscreen, and all of the seats are equipped with universal AC and USB-A sockets as well. And the entire movie selection on this plane was pretty impressive when you look at some of the other Air India planes that are out there. This plane offered you so much when you look at overall offerings that were available in this plane. So I was very excited to get on this flight, explore everything that was in offer on this aircraft. Now, going through one of the features I absolutely love about this A350 aircraft is this feature of the arc system where you can actually see a 4D imagery of the entire world. Going through the entire system was fascinating. You can explore so much, and for an aviation nerd like myself, I spent so much time on this 14.5 hour flight just going through all of the controls. You have the aircraft view where you can see everything that relates to the aircraft. You can toggle your views, you can understand what the layout of the airport is, you can see where you're standing at the exact location of your airport. So, overall, it was a fantastic thing to play around with. And you'll see more as you go through the entire video of all of the different offerings and features that were there in the ARC entertainment system. One of the things that I personally love is exploring overview flights. So, for example, if there are cameras associated in any of the aircrafts, that is something I spend so much time during my flight doing. So, in this specific aircraft, there were two different cameras, one on the tail and one under the nose of the plane. So, going onto the aircraft where you could see the imagery from the tail, I took a look at some of the views that were offered in there, and just look at this amazing bird that you see on the pictures. I absolutely loved it. So just I was getting seated, I was offered an amenity kit. Opening up the amenity kit, you had this beautiful bag from Salvador Ferragamo, which is, in my opinion, one of the best amenity kits. You also had this external bag, which was beautifully presented to us. We also got pajamas from Tumi, which is something that you don't see in most of the other airlines. So well done, Air India, in providing us with such amazing aspects of the entire flight experience. So once I got seated comfortably and we were ready for pushback, I got served this hot towel that I used, and it just made your entire experience so much better. And then going through the menu of the flight, you have some amazing champagnes on offer. I'm personally not much of a champagne drinker. I prefer drinking spirits and cocktails much more than some of the champagnes. But going through the cocktail list, the gin fizz and the orange gin cocktail were two of my most favorite cocktails. If you're a white wine drinker, you had two white wines on offer and also two red wines. One of the things that was definitely missing on the drinks menu would be a port wine. Now, what I really appreciate in this aircraft is that you have individual air vents, which you don't get to see in a lot of Dreamliner aircrafts. Coming back to the food menu, you had so many options. Now, if you slow down the screen, you'll be able to see every single option that's available for you. But for me, I absolutely love the options that were available out here. For breakfast, I went with the upma and the idlis, which was on the Indian side. And then for dinner itself, I went with the chicken tikka option. Now we were ready to take off. So, of course, being an aviation nerd, I was back at the camera view and I made sure to record everything that I could. Next to us was also this beautifully designed bird of the Air India 787 that was standing right next to us, that was ready to leave for London. So, pushing back, it was a fantastic experience because the A350 flight, as I mentioned, was a very anticipated flight. So, we made our way onto the runway. As you can see, we're doing pushback right now and then making ourselves ready to take off. making our way onto the runway past some amazing aircrafts. This is one of the newest A330 Neo aircrafts from ITA Airlines that's based out of Italy. We also passed some beautiful birds on the way in the form of Qatar. We also saw some Emirates planes that were located in Delhi, and this amazing Air Canada aircraft that had the Go Canada Go logo on it that was on bound to Montreal. So making our way onto the runway, it was a beautiful, beautiful sight just going through Delhi Airport. Delhi Airport has a lot of international flights that leave at night. So if you're taking a flight from Delhi and you're flying in the night, you get to see some of the best aircrafts on display. There was also the old livery of the Visara, which is now turned into Air India as well. Some of the 787 900 aircrafts parked together, ready for takeoff to places like Bali and Frankfurt as well. And before we knew it, we were airborne. Already making our way into the skies, you can see this amazing camera view from the nose itself. The wheels already pulled up, and I was very, very excited for the rest of the flight to start. Since it was a late night flight, they wanted to make sure that they start the meal with a small snack so you could get some well needed rest before they started their actual meal service. So the crew came up to us, asked us about the orders for our meals for breakfast as well as dinner, so they could have it prepared and ready for when we wanted them. They were also extremely helpful. And when you look at the seats, when you look at the new branding in the Air India aircraft, they've done a fantastic job. It really screams India. It depicts a lot of the Indian culture, a lot of the Indian art in the seats itself, in the blankets, in the covers, everything. When I got seated, 15 to 20 minutes into the flight, they came up with this sandwich, this kebab, and some green chutney. The sandwich was very underwhelming. Honestly, this was one of the negative parts of the flight. I could not even finish the sandwich. The kebab, on the other hand, was delicious. After finishing the meal, I wanted to check out some of the amenities that were on the flight. So I opened up this headphones for business class. With one hand, it was a struggle opening it up, but it was a massive upgrade from the headphones that they used to have before. Upon listening on this headphone, it was a fantastic headphone. Really, really good noise quality. It was noise cancelling as well. And when you look at the aisle, this upgrade for the A350 has been a fantastic upgrade. Now, one of the key things to note is Air India does have a lot of A350s already on offer, but there's six A350s that you see are actually Aeroflot A350s that weren't delivered to Aeroflot because of the war. Coming into the bathroom, it's a very standard bathroom, but what I really appreciate about this business class bathroom is the amount of space that was actually there. You could easily fit three people in the bathroom and you wouldn't even have to struggle. I quickly changed into my Tumi pajama kit, which was so comfortable, and then made my way back into my seat. Just walking back on this aisle, you feel so happy about the entire aisle. I'd already asked the cabin crew to make my bed, so they graciously made the bed for me. As you can see, this bed in a lie flat state, it is one of the best business class seats I've personally ever seen in my life. It was also one of the most comfortable beds to sleep in. Now, what was fantastic about this entire suite is that it is completely private, so you can close the door. There is no way for anyone to see what's happening inside. There was also a coat hanger hook on this closet. But then once I got myself seated, there were some amazing features on the plane. You could have some back massage as well from the seat itself. As you can see, I'm very comfortable in the seat. The pillow and the blanket were extremely comfortable, so I decided to take a nap, and I actually ended up sleeping for a solid 7 to 8 hours on the seat. I am someone who can't really sleep on the flight, but just sleeping on this plane was so comfortable. I cannot even tell you or express how comfortable that entire sleep was. Had no idea what was happening around me. I woke up and got the cabin crew to serve me the breakfast that I had ordered. As you can see, they gave me this upma with idli, some sambar came as well, along with a basket of bread. The fruits were so fresh, and the muesli with yogurt was absolutely fantastic. They also gave metal cutlery, which I really enjoy in planes and business class situations like this. But the entire experience was extremely elevated. Now, I've been someone who's been flying Air India for a very long time, and the food on Air India is one of the best in my opinion. And this meal was no different. I destroyed the food because I was so hungry, and then I got to exploring more of the seat itself. And then I asked the cabin crew for some coffee, and they provided me this coffee in this amazingly designed cup where I drank my morning coffee and explored the seat even further. The coffee was fantastic. Honestly, again, one of the best coffees on the plane. As I mentioned, the food on Air India is top notch, whether you go on an older aircraft or on the newer aircraft. Whoever does the catering for Air India does a really good job. I also did the call bell challenge, and to my surprise, the crew actually came in less than 6 seconds, which really pleased me when you think about how quickly the crew would come to you in an aircraft. The service, as I mentioned, on this aircraft has been 10 on 10, absolutely top notch. After some more well needed rest, they also served me a gin drink along with some warm peanuts. The peanuts were so warm, it actually went really well with this drink that I had ordered. I ordered a couple of cocktails on the flight, and every single cocktail that they made was absolutely stunning. The quality of alcohol was high, and any food catering issues that you have on Air India will be resolved as quickly as you get on the plane. So me enjoying this drink, I rested for a little bit more, and then made my way for dinner. I was very excited about this dinner. The appetizer that I got was a zucchini salad wrapped in cream cheese, along with this tomato fig jam and some walnuts. This appetizer seriously surprised me. The presentation was extremely average, but the taste of this dish was one of the best tasting dishes I've had on any plane in the air. Now, I've traveled a lot on different planes, and I love traveling on planes, but this dish seriously blew me away. You can take a look at the presentation. There was also some garlic bread that they provided with some butter, and then I was so excited for what the rest of the meal had to offer that I got myself comfortable. I was watching this movie on the plane. And then, as soon as I got myself set up even further, I took a sip of my cocktail, and then I was waiting for the main course to actually come to my table. After a little bit of waiting, the cabin crew came very graciously to provide me with my main course. This main course dish was also fantastic. It was basically a rice dish along with chicken tikka masala and a spinach vegetable curry on the side. They also served some warm paratha with this dish as a whole, and the entire dish tasted so freaking good that I absolutely destroyed the dish in seconds. After completely wiping the plate clean, I was back exploring some more features on the IFE system of this amazing A350. So you got a clear view of what everything looked like on this plane. I was waiting for my dessert to come, so in the meantime, I explored some more options. And before I knew it, the dessert was available on my table. They gave this amazingly decadent chocolate cake with a little bit of a pineapple passion fruit filling in the bottom. There was also a chocolate ganache which paired perfectly well with the meal that I'd eaten. I was so full and satisfied with the entire meal. I was extremely happy with how the entire food experience went about. With only 2 hours left on the flight, I ordered some more coffee and some corn chips, and then was finally so stuffed, but still wanted to make sure that I try everything on this aircraft because I was having so much fun. One of the coolest features when you take a look at this aircraft are these window shades, which work on an up down button function. The lie flat seats were also extremely comfortable. There were buttons on the side that made it go on a lie flat mode. And having changed back into my regular clothes for my landing in New York, unfortunately, I was getting ready for our descent. I took the last couple of minutes to really settle in, enjoy the seat, explore some of the features even further. As you can see, I'm playing with the lamp that's available on this aircraft, and then I open the window to look at this stunning view of the engine. The wing on this plane, the winglet, is so beautiful. The Air India logo was shining through it. And then for one final time, I admired the seat. There was an empty seat in front of me, so I took the opportunity of really filming what the seat would look like. You can see a coat hanger that would be inside that drawer. Every seat came with a water bottle. The seat is one of the cleanest seats that I've seen in any Air India plane. And the entire seat is so well designed that I thought Air India has done a fantastic job overall. When you kind of see the cabin as a whole, the cabin has a lot of privacy, yet it has a lot on offer for the cabin itself. The storage space too is quite heavy on this A350. You have a couple of storage spaces under the seat as well in the form of drawers. You also have storage spaces for your jackets in the form of a closet. You can also leave a couple of things under your seat, which would be your shoes, your slippers, and then you can see some of the other storage spaces out here as well. So overall, lots and lots of storage when you look at the flight as a whole. Now, unfortunately, we were making our descent into New York City, and this entire flight was absolutely fantastic. When you look at how good the crew was, I would give the crew a solid 9.5 on 10. The food in itself was again a 9.5 or a 10 on 10. The seat, in my opinion, was a 10 on 10. It's one of the best seats on any business class flight. The IFE system also was a 9.5 on 10. The only reason I'm cutting a point half a point is that Wi-Fi wasn't available on this flight. The overall experience I've had on this flight, from the lounge, from the gate, all the way landing into New York, has been nothing short of remarkable. Now, when we were landing in New York, it was the morning time, so I got the opportunity to see this beautiful sunset while we were making our way into New York City. Just looking at the sun hitting the engine, it just made my entire experience of being in this plane completely worth it. Now, one of the things we wanted to discuss was how did I book my flights? So I booked my flights using points. I'm someone who lives in Canada, so I have an Aeroplan account which is associated with Air Canada. On Air Canada's platform, I paid $90,000 to book this flight all the way from Kolkata to New York City and back to Toronto. So I had a three flight within the 90,000 points: Kolkata, Delhi, Delhi, New York City, and New York City all the way to Toronto. So I thought this was a fantastic deal on business class, and landing in EWR made it even better on this A350, which is something that I've been wanting to do for the longest period of time. We landed in EWR and it had snowed that day. The entire North American continent in the last couple of weeks has been very, very cold. It's been snowing very, very heavily in the eastern side of North America. So we got to our gate fairly quickly. As soon as we landed, we took a steep left and we were already at our gate. Enjoying the entire views at EWR was absolutely stunning. The overall Air India flight was a must fly. Now, will I fly this aircraft again? 100% yes. I hope they open these new routes to Toronto as well as quickly as possible so I don't have to come through JFK or EWR again. But I'm so glad that Air Canada actually got these planes operational, and I can't wait to see what their long haul routes have an offer once they start receiving more aircrafts from Boeing and Airbus into their fleet. They also are retrofitting all of their 777 aircrafts by the end of 2025. So we will most likely be seeing an upgrade on most of their planes. But overall, for all of those people who are skeptical on whether long haul flying makes sense on Air India, if you get one of these newer aircrafts, it 1000% makes sense. The seat is fantastic, the service is impeccable, the food is next level. The entire experience of being on the plane is one of the best experiences you can have, far, far beyond any North American carrier. I think it would be on par to any of the Middle Eastern carriers as well. We got parked on our gate and it was time to leave the aircraft. Overall, it was a fantastic aircraft. I would give it a solid 9.5 out of 10 overall for how good this entire experience has been. We started deplaning and it was a sad time for me because I loved this experience so, so much. But that being said, I would 100% fly Air India again. The bird was beautiful, the seats were absolutely fantastic, and if you get the opportunity, especially on points, please do book this new Air India aircraft. Making my way into the EWR security check in area, I was unhappy to be leaving this aircraft, but I was happy to be making my way back to Toronto after such a long holiday in India. Fantastic experience, and I severely recommend anyone who wants to fly Air India, please do so on the new A350.